It is our duty as godly men to be a gentleman, a true gentleman, with a heart of a lion. And the reason for that is because we're going to come across many different kinds of people in our life. And I've learned that you always treat people with respect, basic respect, up until they show that they no longer earn that respect. Because sometimes you don't get to just have respect, right? Sometimes respect takes a little bit to earn. And that's the difference really between men and women a lot of the times. Men understand that because we have to work for our value in a way that is so vastly different to women, there's a certain kind of respect that comes with status. There's a certain kind of respect that comes with certain kinds of social cues or charisma or anything like that. It takes a little bit of work. Some people are just really talented at these things, but other times it really does take a lot of work. But ultimately, if you are a godly man and you do have a heart of a lion, you will have the last laugh for sure. And it may not be today, it may not be tomorrow, it may not be next month, but it's going to happen. And today, I was reminded of a scripture in Psalms. It is Psalms 2:4, and it says, "He that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh, and the Lord shall have them in derision." Now, what exactly is derision? Derision is a kind of scorn. Now, why would God have these people in derision? And why would he who sit in heaven laugh? Well, it's because God is not intimidated by heathens. God is not intimidated by the wicked. Why should he be? He's God. There's no reason not to be afraid of the heathens. And just as we are made in the image of God, as men and women of Christ and men and women of God, if we are made in the image of God truly, then that means that we have no need to fear these heathens as well. All those times that the haters and all the people around you wanted to see you down while you were elevating, all of those people that wanted to see you fall even further than you already were, they kicked you while you were down, all of those kinds of people, now they see that you're truly unstoppable, and this made you more solid as an individual. I can't tell you how many emails I've gotten over the past month or so about people sharing their stories, and I'm always pleased to see the emails. I try to read every one because I value that connection to my audience, and I just value that connection in humanity as in general. And so I've wondered, and I've often pondered at these emails and how it's almost like every time they gave in to the manipulation or the covert manipulative tactics, or they caved to the control tactics of these satanic followers, even though they're not blatantly satanic followers, right? They're not blatantly advertising like, "Hey, I follow Satan." They're not openly saying that. I mean, some maybe if they're openly saying that they're Satanists. But I've always found Satanists to be very just black-pilled, I guess you could say. They're very black-pilled. There's not a lot of meaning in life. And they genuinely believe that Satan is going to be the key to unlocking happiness. And it's just like, do you hear yourself? Do you understand what you're saying? Like, how could you really think that? Well, it's because a lot of the times people want to give up the responsibility and the accountability for the sake of short-term reasonable, quote unquote, pleasures. And some of these people are going to be laughable their whole lives. They're going to be paddling the boat backwards, the wrong way, upstream, their whole life, and they're not even going to realize that they could just be going with the river down the whole way. It's absolutely wild, some of these individuals. And you're going to realize, especially as a godly man or woman, you're going to realize that you have a certain kind of calming energy about yourself that is unmatched to those around you, especially the heathens. And the reason that you're so calm is because you're in the Spirit. Now, what exactly does that mean? Like from a practical perspective, what does it mean to be in the Spirit? Well, what it means to be in the Spirit is that you are actively participating in some kind of form of educational or productive consumption in which you will be able to co-create or create with the Creator. And if the Creator smiles upon that which you create, if the Creator is pleased by that which you are able to produce, then there is no need for anxiety. There is no need for depression. God will reward you. And I never really believed it. I never really believed in these kinds of things until I saw it unfold and I saw the logical conclusion played out in my mind. I was always a very visionary person. I've always been a very vision-based person. And I've even had some wild dreams from when I was really young. I always had some wild dreams. And the most intense dream that I ever had was when I was about 17 years old. And at this time, I wouldn't necessarily say I was almost suicidal. And the reason that I was almost suicidal is because I just didn't feel heard or seen or appreciated in any of my relationships, really. I was just going through a breakup with a girl, and she had wanted me. I was atheist at the time. I was an atheist, and she was Mormon. And she wanted me to start going to church, and she wanted me to start, like she told me it wasn't an issue. You know, this wasn't a what would you say? Not a derivative, but I can't think of the word right now, but a deterrent. That's what the word I was thinking of. It was not supposed to be a deterrent. However, over time, it came out to be that way. It came out to be a deterrent. And we broke up because she wanted me to keep going to church, and or she just wanted me to start, and I didn't even want to start at the time. I went to her seminary class with her, and I couldn't get over it because the Mormon culture, if nobody's familiar with the Mormon culture here in Utah specifically, Mormons in Utah have a very bubble-based faith, and it's a very religious spirit. And so I've noticed that a lot of the times there's a lot of emotional abuse that goes aligned with Mormonism. And this woman at the time, she was a convert. So she converted to Mormonism like 3 years before we started dating. And when we finally broke up, I was just in a really dark place. I didn't have the best relationship with my family. In fact, still really don't because of a lot of different reasons. I've mentioned some in other videos before, if you're new to the channel watching this video. But mainly what it came down to was this dream saved my life. And so the vision that I had in this kind of dream, the vision of what my future was like and what it was and my past and everything that happened in between, it was as if I was living a different life in this dream. And so when I came out of the dream, I was no longer like, I knew where I needed to go. I just didn't know how to do it. And so God placed this internal strength within me that I didn't even realize was God at the time. I just knew that it felt different. It was a different kind of feeling than I had ever experienced in my life. I still to this day, I've never had a dream like that. Like, I've had intense dreams. Again, I've always had intense dreams, but this was almost like a psychedelic trip in a dream. And that dream alone gave me the courage to do what I needed to do. And to this day, I still remember almost every single detail of the dream. I didn't write it down at the time, but it was just so impactful that I couldn't forget it. But now I've been documenting my dreams for over 4 years now, every single night. And what I've noticed about the dreams is that it's a spiritual map. You can actually go back like a year or two before, and you can see certain patterns if you're journaling as well, because I journal every day too. I journal and I dream, and I write down my dreams. And this has become a daily habit. And I've done this for over 4 years. And it's been so beneficial for me because it's allowed me to go back through time and see the certain patterns that I was going through. And what I've noticed is that at the times when I really started to trust my visions in the dreams, like what I was having, like what was going on, and even the prophetic dreams of what was going to happen, the more I trusted that, the more my life shaped in that kind of way. And as God's people, we understand that prophecy is a real thing. Like, there are prophecies that have been made in the Bible. Jesus was prophesied. Like, the Messiah was prophesied. And it came into fruition. The Creator himself came into fruition in the physical world. The narrative world, the physical world, and the spiritual world all touched all at once while Jesus was here. And still that imprint has been echoed in time to this day. And so why would, like, if you are truly a godly person, and if you understand that God made you stronger than these heathens, and you understand the history of your Creator, look at this world. Look how beautiful it is. Yeah, you know what? There's a lot of shitty things going on in the world that don't seem like they're worth fighting for. And in fact, there's a lot of relationships that we're going through right now where it may not seem like it's worth fighting for. And to be honest with you, a lot of that is probably true. I'm not going to sugarcoat this. I'm not here to sell you the sugar and spice and all things nice narrative like so many other people are. What's worth fighting for is life itself. That's what it means to really follow Christ, is to understand that if we are truly God's people, if you are truly following God's laws, statutes, and commandments, you have no need to fear anything of what's going on in this life. And sometimes it's hard to remember that, because you see so many people around you doing all these mental gymnastics to try to not take accountability for their actions and to project onto you what they're really doing. And you're thinking there, like, you're just sitting there thinking to yourself, like, help me understand why I should take you seriously when you don't take yourself seriously. Like, come on. And you scoff and you laugh in their face. And it's just like in Psalms, in this verse that we just read earlier. He who sitteth in the heavens shall laugh. Now this is it's kind of a double entendre in a way as well, right? Because if you are sitting in the heavens, if you are in a heavenly space of mind, if you are in a peaceful state of mind, well then you are naturally bringing joy to the world just by being a source of light. And I've had people that have looked into my eyes in my community, and it's almost like they become transfixed. And I noticed this specifically when I started to really follow Christ. It's like they get hypnotized. And I have read in other esoteric and occult texts about when you open your third eye, people can become almost like feeling as though they're in a dream when they look into your eyes. But I never really felt that. Like I never felt that until I started following Jesus. And then I could feel the people seeing into my eyes as if they were eternity. It was as if they were looking into these deep wells of the universe. And it wasn't necessarily, like, I'm not trying to say, like, it's because I have all the secret knowledge of the world. No, it's just because if you follow Christ, if you follow God, and if you start practicing purity, you're naturally going to have that light. You're naturally going to have this response from people. And so, yes, God made you stronger for a reason. And you have to really understand and trust that. God made you strong. He wouldn't make, like, come on. Yeah, it's going to be a fight. It's going to be a spiritual war. We're in the spiritual war. We might as well be in World War III as far as I'm concerned, psychologically speaking. Because have you looked at the people? Like, have you looked at the people out there? They're walking. It's the Walking Dead. They're so on their phone. Like literally the other day at the coffee shop, there was a girl, and she was walking to get her coffee as I was leaving, and there she was. She was walking like this. Super slow on her phone, like no sense of understanding what's around her. She had to be 19, 20, like maybe even younger. But she just was like so slow walking toward, and I'm just like, wow. These people have no idea what's coming. They have no idea what's out there. We live in such a world where a woman like that can walk like that, not pay attention to her surroundings, almost be like a cyborg, literally stuck in the matrix. Like, she's not here, guys. The people are not here. They're somewhere else. God knows where they are. God knows. All we know is they're not here. They are not. And you are. You're keeping your head on the swivel. You're following what you need to follow to progress in life. And these freaking crazy people. Imagine what would happen if war landed on our doorstep. For real. Like, imagine if that happened. I don't want to imagine these things. I don't want to think about these things. But by golly, if something happened like this, they would be no help whatsoever. No help. They wouldn't know how to nurture anybody that was sick. You know, even like there were a lot of nurses in warfare that were women, and they were healers, right? Like they have this natural ability to be healers of some kind. It's true. Like their feminine energy is just really healing when they are in their feminine. And they would be no help. They have no idea what to do other than it's wild out here. So yeah, you're stuck thinking, like, help me understand why I ought to take you seriously. Because I'm doing everything I need to do, and you're over there stuck in the frickin' matrix. Man, it's crazy out there, guys. It's super crazy. And it makes me just more thankful to be with God every single day. Are there days where it's hard? Of course. Of course. Are there days where you really don't feel like doing the things that you need to do? Of course. Today was one of those days for me. It was leg day. When I woke up, because I didn't get a lot of good sleep last night, I don't know, it was bizarre weather, and then the heaters kept wigging out, and anyways, weird night. And I usually get like fine sleep. I almost always get at least 7 hours of sleep. And last night I didn't, and it was leg day. And fortunately, like, we didn't have too much stuff going on at work, my day job today, so that was nice. Like, there was no rush or anything. Like, I could just do my work as I needed to do it. And now I'm here doing these videos, hopefully providing some kind of insight and utility for the people that are watching this video. We don't stop. Like, we're not going to stop. We're going to keep going. Because we're in it for the long haul. We're here to stay, and we're here to go forward. We're here to evolve. We're in the spirit of the times where life is just kind of wacko. We live in a completely novel time, and it's our job to take responsibility to hopefully improve the lives of the upcoming generation so that the human race can survive. And it takes godly men and women to do that, if history has shown us anything. And with that being said, peace be with you. Till next time.